remember the words. Wake well past midnight to the burden of beds and the screaming quiet. We swam along just fine, and then she broke her back and a bank broke mine. Now I'm at the kitchen table putting numbers in the paper and dodging the mirror in the wall. And I swear I'll drive till the sun gave light and it just a little pushes off. And I build my boat so tall, so wide, but I'm still waiting on the river to rise. I was born by the book. I keep my carpet clean and my money earned. Why is the TV man always smiling at me? I wonder who he burned. Now how come everybody for the common man never looks quite like me? Well, they're running in the sun with the shoes undone, yet they never seem to burn their feet. And I build my boat so tall, so wide, and I'm still waiting on the river to rise. Tickets on my shelf, stains on my knees, pennies in my well. I've got faith in faith, because the other choice is no choice at all. Now there's a man in the sky that I done right by, but he ain't done right by me. Never had to ask forgiveness for the things I've done, but you just wait and see. I will build my boat so tall, so wide, and I won't be waiting on the river to rise. No, I won't be waiting on the river to rise. No, I won't be waiting on the river to rise.
We are sitting here in the living room of one Naseem Khuri. If you all don't know him, he is the lead singer of the Boston, D.C. band known as Kingsley Flood, who released an album earlier this year, Battles, to actually widespread acclaim. You guys have been hitting the press a good bit. I think you won 2010. You won New Artist of the Year.
2010, right?
And then recently you were voted one of the 20 bands that are pushing the envelope for, I didn't write down the name of the site.
That was just like yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Alternate Route.
But you're in the company of bands like Over the Rhine, Johnny Fritz, Elephant Revival and stuff. You're in good company.
Right.
So I guess, Naseem, thank you for having us in your living room here.
Thanks for coming over.
Tell us a little bit about...
Thanks for testing the salsa.
Yeah.
You guys are kind of guinea pigs on that one.
I tested the hell out of that salsa.
I didn't know how good it was.
So in 2010, when you guys got together, were you... was this like a songwriting project? Was it like you just said, I just want to start a fucking band? Or how did that go?
No, I had a bunch of songs all throughout sort of early, mid-20s that I never thought would leave my bedroom. And I had a bunch of big ideas. I had a bunch of things I wanted to say. And, of course, the whole time I'm sitting around going, like, how do I find a band? How do people find bands? Mm-hmm. How does that... It doesn't just happen. And so, yeah, I had all this, like, songs just sort of pent up. And then I through Craigslist met Nick Balkin, who at that time was playing in this orchestrally pop band in Boston, playing guitar, and I asked him to pick up a bass for the first time. Because a friend of mine was playing at this place called the Lizard Lounge in Cambridge. Needed an opener. I was like, all right, I'm going to find a bassist and a drummer. And that's sort of the first formation of the band. I had the name kicking around for like a long time. And
now
what's the name? Of course, I wake up every day I'm saying that's the stupidest name.
Oh, and what's the name referred to?
I just like the word flood.
Just like the word flood?
I like the sort of connotations of it. I like the biblical aspect of it. I like sort of everything about it. And Kingsley, I just lived on a street named Kingsley in Lower Alston, Boston.
That's how it happens.
And then I also heard that was the name of a street that Springsteen used to race cars on. So I was like, oh, that means I have to name my band.
Yeah. So, obviously a big Springsteen fan.
I am a Springsteen fan.
Yes. From there, that was when? That was what, 2000?
That was actually earlier than 10. That was late 2008.
Now, how long did it take to put together like the rest of the band? Because like I said, you are a 6-piece now.
We're a 6-piece, and that first record that we did is just me, Nick, and Chris are the only people who are on that record who are currently in the band still. Cause, we have a different drummer now. We have a different... one guy named Michael Spaley played guitar, violin, mandolin, banjo, everything on that first record, and then he went and got all serious and had a family and moved to Seattle. So
okay, all right. From there,
priorities,
and you guys actually got attention pretty immediately. I mean, it was as far as we are in the internet age, so right. I mean it's easy enough. But there's been a sort of a new. Which I don't classify you guys in at all, but a new sort of folk movement that picked you guys up,
right?
And and paid attention to what you were doing.
It's funny, we didn't start out saying we want to be an old timey Americana band. I was looking for an organist and a keys player, and then Mike Spaley was like, "Oh, I happen to play banjo and mandolin and fiddle," and I was like, "All right." So we started that, and it just sort of happened that way.
Yeah.
But we really liked the songs. We liked how it worked with the songs. So we sort of stuck there.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been an evolution, I think, of your sound. When we get to Battles, which came out this year, which is I wrote the review, so it's an excellent album.
Thank you for that.
There's you guys pushed that, not to go back to the award you just won or that list, but you really did push what that definition of all that stuff is doing, because I think a lot of times that might get a little boring.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are pushing into this territory of almost old mod Britpop, Small Faces.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people toss around the Kinks and stuff. Is that intentional, or is that just an evolution? Was that your album was produced by Sam Kassirer? Kassirer, excuse me. Who also produced David Wax's Knock Knock Get Up. How did this latest album evolve out of to where it is now?
Yeah, I think this is the album that we wanted to make for a long time.
Yeah.
It's the one that we finally got. We finally felt formed enough. We had played enough on the road. We had logged in enough hours on the road that we knew what our sound was. We knew what sound we wanted to go for. We knew what we were trying to accomplish. And it's the one where we really put a lot of time into it. And we asked, fans and supporters to help us out. So we used a Pledge Music campaign to finance the thing. And so we could take our time with it. In terms of how we evolved that way, I don't necessarily consider it an evolution. I consider it as this is the one that we really wanted to make.
Really wanted to do.
And this is the one that's the sort of culmination of all those hours on the road.
Is it as far as when you guys write songs? I mean, is this a combination of all you guys experience what you listen to and everything? Because you said you're a Springsteen fan,
yeah,
and that definitely is in there in the writing.
Yeah.
Is that basically what happens? Everything.
I think what happens is that I have an idea. I sit here in my bedroom at 3 a.m. and I come up with this, what I think is this incredible idea, and I come up with parts, And then I bring all that to the band, and it just goes out the window, and everyone's like, no, your parts are crap. We're going to come up with our own parts. And then it takes on a life of its own. So everyone is able to bring their own influences to the band. I do think for this album that we all were actually thinking a lot. We actually all have been on a big Kinks kick.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason we love that is there's just so many dynamics. And whatever we do, we want dynamics. We want a dynamic live show. We want up and down. We want to tell a story. We want to go from A to B. And along the way, we're not just going to beat you over the head with the same thing. We like variety, and I think that we treat our live show like that. We treat our albums like that. We just want as much dynamics as possible without doing it for the sake of it. You know, at the end of the day, you have to listen. You have to listen to what the song calls for.
Yeah, and I would say on album and actually the live show, it definitely succeeded. That's what sort of shocked me, I guess, about the live show was that it really was sort of like a journey from start to finish.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
you and the entire band was so invested in it. And it reached a point a few songs in where you just simply could not take your eyes off you guys.
Cool.
Because what was going on stage was just like, that's exactly how it needed to be.
Cool.
Which was a weird night, and I mean, because like you guys have an ugly purple sweater,
Right.
And they're great. I don't know who would follow you right now in your guys' career,
Right.
Because it was clear that you guys won it.
We were thinking Metallica.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, you guys like it is very clear, like, almost like a mission. It seems that where you come out and like you're gonna play this show, and I assume that happens at every show.
Yeah.
That'd be...
Every show we treat like our last. We're gonna leave it all out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think actually that also comes from this. I've had like a lot of death around us. Like the first album was dedicated to my dad, who had just died.
Right.
This last album was dedicated to our great friend Matt, who just died in September. And so that just sort of to us like that he was on the road with us a lot. We dedicated the album to him. We wrote something on our website about it. He's from Madison, and everyone from Madison has been like wildly supportive. But I think we treat every show having that sort of fragility in mind, and just being like, screw this. Let's just, even if there's one person in the crowd, our goal is to win over that one person. If they're sitting there like this, we're just going to be like, all right.
And in DC, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see a difference coming, because you're here and the rest of the band is in Boston?
Yeah.
As far as like the shows you play, do you see a difference in those crowds? Because like I said, DC is notoriously just tough.
I don't know. I kind of disagree, because our DC shows, I think that people sort of, we get great reactions from the crowd, and like any band on stage, you feed off a crowd. And I don't know if it's because people are working really hard in intense jobs down here and they really need to cut loose or what, but we have a blast every time we play DC. Like that Black Cat show was
there's a line around the block.
Yeah.
At the Black Cat show.
Yeah,
I literally walked up and it was like,
well, you tried to deny, but I'm onto your joke. I'ma tell you all the things that your mirror won't. You can't be a time in the sun, but in fact, a ladder don't matter if it's made out of wax. Now the shoes that you use for the skip in your step, they don't walk, they just talk so deliberate.
what the hell?
Yeah, that's and I'm glad that people are willing to sit out. That was in January, so they're willing to sit out in the cold and then cut loose, and then whatever we just want to give it to them when we get on stage, and leave it all out there.
So you're going to be playing Newport Folk Festival this year,
right?
Did that how did that come about, and did it fairly blow your minds, or was that something you've been working for?
No, totally. It was
Yeah.
no big deal. Yeah, I think I did a few cartwheels.
Nice.
I hurt my back in the process. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I think we've just been... I think Newport does a great job of balancing sort of huge people that have been around for a long time and trying to really cultivate younger artists and or newer artists. I wouldn't say that we're exactly young, but newer artists. And I don't know. I'd like to think that they sort of are keeping an eye on the sort of Boston scene, because I think it's a great scene, and I think there's a lot of people doing amazing things in Boston. And a lot of our friends have already played Newport that we've played a bunch of shows with. Joe Fletcher, Spirit Family Reunion.
Saw him last year.
Nice.
It's amazing.
And all these guys, and I think that that's the kind of world that we like to live in, and I'm glad that we're sort of going to be a part of that this summer too. So
Good.
It's going to be awesome. We're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. Well, you feel like playing a song, maybe?
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Cool. Whenever you
Take
are
two.
ready. Same song.
Dark days have gone and come. I've been singing that saintly song. Sin knocking on my door. I say no, no more. Them schoolyard days are done, but them school bells linger on. Police who's done my books, and now writing my paychecks, and it's goodbye. Wide eyes, you surely had your time. So long, sweetheart. Well, at least you gave it a try. Now the sun's gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. Yeah, the sun's gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. That's right. I've climbed the good soapbox, and I've tried the mountain tops. The ghosts live on my high road. They keep saying, go on, get low. Now it's goodbye, wide eyes. Just leave your humble pie. Well, get some blood on your gloves. Just leave your knees behind. 'Cause the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. Yeah, the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. That's right. Tonight I'll rest my head, dream dreams I've never dreamt. I'll hold up high my chin and welcome sin on in. Now the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. Yeah, the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. Yeah, the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. Yeah, the sun gonna let me shine, gonna let me shine. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Ow!
Thank you.
That is what I was talking about, the mod
Yeah.
type feel. It's
Yeah.
very sunny. It could find a place at, I don't know, like 1967 somewhere and stuff. And how did you come by like that as opposed to like some of the other songs on the album?
That song actually started off as a very different thing. It was just going to be a vocal drum thing.
Okay.
And then that just wasn't working, and it was very much a thing where I just came up with these chords, and I think what makes the song is the guitar riff, which is all George. George just came up with that, and it killed us all right when he came up with it. And in the studio, Sam said, let's octave that. So you can hear, we tucked the higher octave a little lower in the mix, but you can still hear it. And because if you blare it up really high, it sounds a little too guitar-many thing going on, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Which you should cover Whitesnake.
Yeah, exactly. But didn't fit for that song, and I think where it sits now like really fits for it, and that's how.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that riff just sort of made that song, and I think in particular, I was actually thinking I totally ripped off the initial sort of melody for that song was a total rip off of the Summer Afternoon Kinks song.
Yeah. But that's okay though.
Yeah,
because I mean, if you're gonna rip off somebody, Ray Davies is the person that you want to rip off, and I mean, and it's not a rip off. I mean, ultimately you made it your own.
I think I hope we made our own.
You absolutely made it your own. And now, where's the message of like that song? I mean, that's a very sunny poppy song, and it's one side of you guys, one side that comes out very strongly on Battles. Mm-hmm. You also get into like there's some like deep storytelling. Right. Which differentiates you guys from, say, bands like the Lumineers or, I mean, most definitely Mumford & Sons. I hate to bring them up, but and it is it is what makes the difference between you guys and them. I mean, are these all stories like from your head? Or are they stories from just band experiences and stuff? Like how autobiographical?
Right. A lot of this album is very much sort of about the guy who does everything right and still gets screwed, and still falls behind. And I think that's a theme that's sort of been present in every single one of our lives, and it's been I think it's been there a lot, sort of in the news with the economy and everything like that. You just keep hearing those stories, and it resonates a lot with us as a band where half our band was laid off from jobs, and it felt like everyone was doing everything right. You're going to school, you're paying your taxes, you're doing it right, and you're still hurting. And it's the first time ever that people are starting to say, "Oh, we're not going to do as well as the previous generation did," and that's sort of against the promise of America, right?
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm interested in that, and what happens, and mainly in the question I think that the album asks is, all right, so what choices do you have? All right, so you're screwed, so what are you going to do? Yeah. Gonna Lemme Shine is actually, it sounds like a very uplifting thing. Basically, it's a song about selling out. And if you're able to, just screw it, I'm going to sell out. Or I'm going to throw elbows. What other choices do I got?
Yeah. And in that context, it sort of becomes hilariously sad.
Right.
Because you're like, it's going to let me shine.
Yeah.
Like,
those are always my favorite songs that you're chanting something, or you're totally like, moving your ass around.
Yeah.
You don't, the words are totally contradictory to what you're actually saying.
So is Battles, I mean, is it sort of a concept album?
It's funny. But I think every album should be a concept album.
Sure. I mean, from a writer's standpoint, I mean, you're obviously thinking. Yeah,
I'm worried about the albums that don't have a concept. I don't want to, unless it's like an album that's specifically designed to just like move your ass and dance, which is great. I think, that's a concept in itself. Like, I think everything should have a concept.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I've got. I think we've got stories to tell, and we're trying to tell them. So if that's called a concept album, then fine. We'll take it.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because it definitely is. There's moments on that like you get inside characters, like specifically on the title track. Like just that riff from the opening night pulls you inside that character.
Cool.
And then all of a sudden you're like there, and you're like you're fighting.
Right.
Like, this is like, and you can't hear that and not feel that way, which is, which I think is something like that not a lot of people did, and you guys did an amazing job.
Cool, thanks.
With that. Another song was "Waiting for the River to Rise." How did that song come about? Like, what's that song about?
That's very much that idea of the person that does everything right. You're born by the book. Keep your carpet clean and your money earned. It's very much that, and you still sort of fall behind. And then, what do you do about that? And I think it's a defiant song. It's sort of saying, all right, I've done everything right. I still get screwed, but I'm not just going to put my fate in the hands of other people. I'm going to try to take some control back. And, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But that was a song also that it's become this sort of near and dear to our hearts. That was our friend Matt's favorite song. Yeah. On the album, before the album was released, he had heard it because he was very close to the band, and then he passed away, and I think and that was his favorite song. So that takes on sort of an extra sort of significant meaning for us. So.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned that at the live show, and it definitely
talked a lot about it.
So, and you should, and I mean,
he'd be pissed. He would be. Really,
would he be pissed?
Stop talking about me.
Well,
this is not about me.
Friends would do that. Yeah. But it clearly, and I think it's important to have things, not things like that, because those are bad, but those things influence what you do. And I
think it definitely influences the way we play it. I think we play it. It has taken on a more significant meaning. It's taken on this sort of life of its own. And we didn't expect that. Like, I thought that was kind of a throwaway song. I wasn't expecting much of it when we put this album out. Mm-hmm. We had a lot, and that's what's funny is that you go into the studio and you expect certain things, and then it comes out totally different. And all the songs that I thought were going to be something turned out to be totally, different. But we're psyched with the results. So,
Naseem, thank you for letting us come into your home and do this. And
I
hope the salsa was good.
The salsa was fantastic.
It was very good. Excellent. I haven't talked because I've been eating salsa. The black meat dip's pretty good too.
You guys, how many shows you got planned this year? How many shows you got planned this year?
This year, man, I have no idea.
Nope.
Number, I can't give you a number, but a lot.
Hopefully a lot.
Yes. We're going for it. We're trying to be.
People need to see you guys, and you guys need to do what you do. So, and we will see you at the next show, which will be this Thursday.
Yes, April 4th, 9:30 Club.
Yep.
Opening for the great David Wax Museum.
Naseem, serious question: Hall or Oates?
Hoots.
Oh! Okay, there we go.
No, I would say Hall because he still has a show that live from Daryl's house. On if you ever watch it on.
You sir,
yes,
are in the club. Yes. There we go. All right,
it's sweet. That's a goal. I want to play in Daryl Hall's house. That's our goal.
That is
forget Madison Square Garden.
Just Daryl Hall's house. Fucking awesome.
Your change is never coming.